Have you ever wondered why would a successful businessman, a college student, a laborer, a retired grandfather, and even a millionaire walk hundreds of kilometers barefoot, carrying nearly 20 kilograms of Gangajal only to pour it on a stone called Shivalinga? If spirituality is only about convenience, the Kawad Yatra makes no sense. If religion is merely ritual, the Kawad Yatra becomes unnecessary burden. If you understand Mahadev, then every step of Kawad Yatra becomes conversation between the human soul and the infinite. Today, let us understand not merely the history, but the call of Mahadev. Because millions do not simply decide to walk, they are called. Har Har Mahadev. Hari Om. Every year, roads of India become saffron rivers. The air vibrates only with one sound. Bol Bum. Hospitals prepare, police prepare, villages prepare, families prepare. Millions of strangers begin walking like one family. What power can unite so many people without invitation? No government sends them. No company pays them. No one forces them. Something deeper pulls them. Our saints have always said, when the disciple is ready, the Guru calls. The Kawad Yatra is that call. Mahadev does not shout. He whispers. And only the heart hears him. Shiva never called kings. He called hearts. Look carefully at Lord Shiva. He is unlike every other deity. He does not sit on a golden throne. He sits on a rock. He wears tiger skin, not silk, ash, not perfume, serpents, not jewels. He lives in cremation grounds, not palaces. Why? Because Shiva is teaching something extraordinary. He is saying, I am available to everyone. You need not become rich before approaching me. You need not become famous before approaching me. You need not become perfect before approaching me. Come exactly as you are. This is why poorest devotee feels equally welcomed by Mahadev. A king and a beggar stand before the same Shivlinga. The Shiva sees neither, he only sees devotion. That is why he is called Bholenath, the Lord whose heart melts before sincerity. The story of Ravana. Many people know Ravana only as a villain of the Ramayana, but few know that Ravana was among the greatest devotees of Lord Shiva. According to Shiva Purana and later traditions, Ravana performed severe tapas for thousands of years. It is said that he would offer his own heads, one after another, as a symbol of complete surrender. Pleased with his devotion, Mahadev blessed him with immense power. What does this teach us? Shiva does not judge your social status. He responds to intensity of your devotion. But there is another lesson. Ravana possessed extraordinary devotion, yet he failed to conquer his ego. His devotion gave him power, his ego destroyed him. This is why the spiritually wealthy Gurukul we say devotion without character is dangerous. Knowledge without humility becomes arrogance. Power without dharma becomes destruction. The Kawad Yatra is therefore not only about carrying Gangajal, it is about leaving ego behind. Why Gangajal? Have you noticed something? Mahadev already wears Mother Ganga on his own head. Then why do we bring Gangajal to him? Does Shiva need water? No. We need surrender. The water is not for Shiva. The journey is for us. When you carry Gangajal carefully for hundreds of kilometers, you begin carrying your thoughts carefully. When you protect every drop, you begin valuing every moment. When your shoulders become tired, your ego becomes lighter. That is why the Kawad is spiritual laboratory. It changes the person carrying it. The descent of Mother Ganga. The Shiva Purana beautifully describes Shiva as the compassionate Lord who receives mighty Ganga upon his matted locks, protecting the earth from her overwhelming force. Imagine that moment. The celestial river descends with unimaginable power. Without Shiva, the earth would have been shattered. Mahadev absorbs the impact first. Only then does he allow Ganga to flow gently for humanity. What is the teaching? This is what great souls do. They absorb suffering so that others may experience peace. Parents do it, teachers do it, saints do it. Even today, police officers, doctors, volunteers serving during Kawad Yatra are living example of Shiva's compassion. Whatever you see someone serving silently, bow mentally. Mahadev is working through them. The greatest pilgrimage. People often ask, what is the benefit of Kawad Yatra? Let me ask a different question. What is the benefit of becoming better human being? That is the real benefit. If you begin the journey impatient, return patient, Mahadev has blessed you. If you begin selfish and return compassionate, Mahadev has blessed you. If you begin restless and return peaceful, Mahadev has blessed you. The destination is never the temple alone. The destination is transformation. The three levels of Kawad Yatra. This is where spiritually wealthy Gurukul understands the pilgrimage differently. The same yatra can happen at three levels. Level 1, war. This is the battle against laziness, comfort, excuses, fear, anger. Discipline begins here, walking every day, keeping your promise, following Dharma, respecting others. This is your Kurukshetra. Most people lose this battle before they reach Mahadev. Level 2, garden. Now the battle is over. A garden begins to bloom. Compassion grows, patience grows, forgiveness grows, service becomes natural. You no longer ask, what can I receive? You ask, what can I contribute? This is why every glass of water offered to a tired pilgrim becomes worship. Every smile becomes worship. Every act of kindness becomes worship. The garden of the heart begins to bloom. Level 3, liberation. Finally comes the greatest question. Who is walking? Who is carrying the kawad? Who is offering Gangajal? The Upanishad answers. The same consciousness appearing as devotee, appearing as Gangajal, appearing as Shiva, appearing as entire universe. This is Advaita. The highest pilgrimage is discovering that the seeker, the path, the Shiva were never separate. 11 lessons in one sentence. The Kawad teaches us, protect life, serve others, remain disciplined, control the ego, care for nature, walk consciously, respect society, remain grateful, return safely, become compassionate, and finally, know yourself. That is the entire spiritual journey hidden inside one pilgrimage. The real offering. People think the offering is Gangajal. No. Gangajal is only the symbol. The real offering is your anger. Offer it. Your jealousy. Offer it. Your ego. Offer it. Your greed. Offer it. Your fear. Offer it. When these are offered into the fire of devotion, the heart becomes a temple. The final story. There is a beautiful saying among saints. A devotee asks, Mahadev, where shall I find you? Shiva smiled. I am not waiting only in Kailash. I walk beside every pilgrim. I serve in every seva camp. I stand in every police officer directing traffic. I heal through every doctor. I give water through every volunteer. I smile through every child chanting Bol Bam. If you learn to see me there, then every road becomes Kailash. What a profound teaching. The goal is not merely to reach Shiva. The goal is to begin seeing Shiva everywhere. So when you see Kawadiya walking, do not merely see a pilgrim. See a soul answering the call of Mahadev. When you hear Bol Bam, do not merely hear a slogan. Hear the awakening of millions of hearts. And when you undertake the Kawad Yatra yourself, do not merely carry Gangajal, carry humility, carry compassion, carry discipline, carry awareness, carry gratitude. Because one day the Kawad will be placed before the Shivling. But the character you build during the journey will remain with you forever. May every step bring you closer, not only to Kailash, but to your own true self. Har Har Mahadev. Om Namah Shivaya. If the Kawad Yatra is a divine call, then what exactly is Kawad? Why does Mahadev ask us to carry Gangajal on our shoulder instead of simply bringing it to a vessel? Is there a deeper symbolism hidden in every bamboo pole, every step, and every drop of sacred water. The next chapter will uncover the mystical symbolism of Kawad itself and discover why this pilgrimage is one of the greatest living metaphors in Sanatana Dharma. The hidden meaning of Kawad, the symbolism of Gangajal, the shoulders, and the journey. What if I told you the bamboo you carry is not merely a bamboo? The Gangajal you carry is not merely water. The shoulders that bear the Kawad are not merely shoulders. And the road to the temple is not merely a road. Then what is it? The entire Kawad Yatra is living Upanishad. Every object, every step, every hardship, every chant, every drop of Gangajal is teaching us one of the deepest truths of Sanatana Dharma. Unfortunately, most devotees carry the Kawad, but very few understand the Kawad. Today, let Mahadev reveal its hidden meaning. Har Har Mahadev. Mahadev never needs water. Let us begin with a simple question. Does Lord Shiva really need the Gangajal that we carry for hundreds of kilometers? Think carefully. The one who bears Mother Ganga upon his own matted locks needs us to bring him water? Certainly not. Then why this tradition? Because Mahadev is not asking you for water. He is asking for your transformation. The Gangajal is only the excuse. You are the offering. The Kawad is your life. Look carefully at the structure of Kawad. Two pots, one bamboo, balanced perfectly. If one side becomes heavier, the journey becomes painful. Isn't that exactly our life, our work, and our family, our ambition, and our values, material success, and spiritual wisdom? If one side dominates, life becomes unbalanced. This is why Mahadev does not ask us to carry one pot, he asks us to carry two. Because Dharma is balance. The Bhagavad Gita says, Samatvam Yoga Uchyate. Bhagavad Gita chapter 2 verse 48. Equanimity is yoga. The Kawad is teaching yoga long before we reach the temple. The bamboo. Why bamboo? Why not iron? Why not steel? Because bamboo teaches flexibility. When storm comes, the rigid tree breaks, the bamboo bends and survives. That is exactly how devotee should live. Life will bend you, business will bend you, relationships will bend you, health will bend you. Never become so rigid that your ego breaks you. Become like bamboo, strong yet flexible, firm yet humble. That is Shiva's teaching. The two pots. Let us go even deeper. The two pots symbolizes something extraordinary. One pot represents the outer world, your career, your money, your responsibility, your family. The other pot represents your inner world, peace, meditation, self-knowledge, love, compassion. Most people spend their entire lives filling only one pot, the outer one. Their bank account grows, their anxiety also grows. Their house becomes bigger, their heart becomes smaller. Spiritually wealthy Gurukul teaches something different. Become wealthy, outside and inside. The Kawad teaches the same philosophy. Carry both, protect both, balance both. Why on the shoulders? Have you noticed Mahadev did not ask us to carry Kawad in our hands or on our heads? It rests only on our shoulders. Why? Because shoulder represents responsibility. When a father says, I have taken the responsibility of this family, we say the responsibility rests on his shoulders. When a soldier protects the nation, the responsibility rests on his shoulders. When Lord Shiva drinks the halahala poison during Samudra Manthan, he accepts the responsibility of protecting creation. Shoulders always symbolizes responsibility. The Kawad reminds us, spirituality is not escaping responsibility. Spirituality is carrying responsibility joyfully. Gangajal represents consciousness. Now comes the greatest secret. What does Gangajal represent? In Vedanta, water often symbolizes consciousness, pure, transparent, life-giving. Without water, nothing survives. Without consciousness, nothing exists. Mother Ganga descends from heaven, flows through Shiva, and nourishes the earth. Similarly, pure consciousness flows through Guru, through scriptures, into the heart of the seeker. The real Gangajal is divine wisdom. The real journey is carrying that wisdom without spilling it. Why can't the Kawad touch the ground? Traditional Kawadias are extremely careful. They avoid placing the Kawad directly on the ground. Why? Not because bamboo becomes impure, because awareness should never fall. Every time you place a Kawad carefully, Mahadev whispers, protect your values the same way. Never place your integrity on the ground. Never compromise Dharma. Never abandon truth. Carry your principles the way you carry Gangajal, with reverence. Walking barefoot. Another mystery. Why barefoot? Certainly not because Shiva enjoys seeing devotees suffer. No. The earth removes pride. Every stone teaches patience. Every thorn teaches awareness. Shoes separate us from the earth. Bare feet reminds us, I owe nothing. I am only traveler. Ego disappears when every step reminds you your dependence upon grace. The road is the Guru. Where does transformation happen? Inside the temple or on the road? Most people think the temple changes them. No, the road changes it. The temple simply completes the journey. Every delay is a lesson. Every blister is a teacher. Every thirsty pilgrim is an examination. Every volunteer is opportunity to express gratitude. Every traffic signal treats your patience. Every difficulty reveals your character. Life itself is exactly like this. Problems are not punishments, they are classrooms. The three levels of Kawad. Now let us understand through spiritually wealthy Gurukul. War level. The shoulder hurt. The body resists. The mind complains. This is war. The enemy is not the road. The enemy is within. Laziness, comfort, excuses, anger, comparison, fear. Who wins? The one who continues walking. Every great life begins with this war. Garden level. Now something beautiful happens. The devotee begins serving others, sharing water, helping strangers, smiling more, complaining less. The heart blossoms. The battlefield becomes a garden. You no longer ask, how far is the temple? You ask, whom can I help today? That is spiritual maturity. Liberation level. Now comes the greatest revelation. Who carries this Kawad? Who carries consciousness? Who is walking? The answer of Advaita is astonishing. There is no two. The carrier, the carried, and the one receiving are the one reality. Just as waves appear different, yet remain ocean, the devotee, the Gangajal, the Shivalinga, and Mahadev are expression of the same infinite consciousness. This is why the Upanishad declare, Tattvamasi, you are that. The outer pilgrimage ends at the temple. The inner pilgrimage ends only when the truth is realized. The story of Kannappa. The Shiva Purana and Shiva traditions preserve many stories of devotion, but one of the most beloved comes from the life of Kannappa Nayanar. Kannappa was not a scholar. He knew no Sanskrit. He knew no rituals. He was a hunter. Whatever he had, he offered. Water carries in his mouth, food from his hunt. And finally, when he saw blood flowing from the eye of the Shivalinga, he offered his own eye. Shiva stopped him before he offered the second. Why? Because Mahadev was never testing ritual, he was testing love. The Kawad Yatra teaches us exactly the same lesson. Gangajal is precious, but a heart filled with surrender is infinitely more precious. The real Kawad. Let me ask you one final question. After the pilgrim ends, where is your Kawad? Did you leave in the temple, or are you still carrying it? If your Kawad remains only bamboo, the pilgrim has ended. But if your Kawad has become your values, your discipline, your compassion, your humility, then the pilgrimage has just begun. Every morning carry patience, every afternoon carry responsibility, every evening carry gratitude, and every night offer your ego at the feet of Mahadev. Then every day becomes Kawad Yatra. My dear friends, the bamboo is not bamboo, it is balance. The shoulders are not shoulders, they are responsibility. Gangajal is not merely water, it is purity of consciousness. The road is not merely road, it is the Guru. And Mahadev is not waiting only at the destination, he is walking beside you, transforming you one step at a time. So when you lift the Kawad, remember, you are not carrying Gangajal to Shiva, Shiva is carrying you towards your highest self. That is the hidden meaning of Kawad. Har Har Mahadev Om Namah Shivaya. Now that we understand the symbolism of Kawad, a deeper question arises. If every part of the pilgrimage is symbolic, then why did our sages prescribe specific disciplines? Walking barefoot, chanting Bolbam, serving fellow pilgrims, protecting nature, maintaining purity, and observing self control. In the next chapter, we will uncover the 11 hidden lessons of Kawad Yatra and discover how they can transform not only a pilgrimage but the entire life. The 11 lessons from the Kawad Yatra. Lesson 1 to 4. The devotion that transforms life. My dear friends, in the previous chapter, we discover that a Kawad is far more than bamboo pole carrying 2 pots of Ganga. It is a living scripture. Every step, every blister, every chant, every drop of sacred water is silently teaching us how to live. But now comes an even deeper question. If Mahadev wanted only our devotion, why did our sages insist upon discipline? Why are there rules for walking? Why are pilgrims encouraged to serve one another? Why is awareness emphasized at every step? Because Lord Shiva never wanted devotees who were merely emotional. He wanted devotees who were transformed. Let us now uncover the first 4 life-changing lessons hidden with the Kawad Yatra. Lesson 1. Offer Gangajal to Shiva, but protect the life Shiva has given you. Imagine the scene. A devotee walks barefoot for 300 kilometers. He protects every drop of Gangajal. He ensures that not even a single drop is wasted. His devotion is beautiful. But imagine another scenario. In excitement, he ignores traffic, walks carelessly onto a highway, or travels at night without visibility. He protects the Gangajal, but forgets to protect the very life that Mahadev has entrusted to him. Tell me honestly, would that make Mahadev happy? Certainly not. The Shiva Purana repeatedly portrays Shiva as Ashutosh, the Lord who is quickly pleased by sincere devotion. But he is equally the compassionate protector of all beings. Compassion is not separate from worship. It is a natural expression. Our body is not ordinary. Our sages declared, Deho Devalaya Prokto Jivo Deva Sanatanaha. The body is said to be a temple, and the indwelling self is the eternal divine. If your body is temple, would you neglect it? Would you deliberately damage it? Then why neglect your health during pilgrimage? The offering is not complete when the Gangajal reaches the Shivalinga. The offering is complete when a devotee also returns home safely. Because somewhere a mother is waiting, a father is waiting, a wife is waiting, children are waiting. Your family is also Mahadev's responsibility, and through you, he is taking care of them. That is why wearing a reflective jacket at night, walking in designated lanes, following instruction from the volunteers, remaining hydrated, seeking medical help when injured, are not merely safety measures. They are acts of devotion. At Spiritually Wealthy Gurukul, we teach that spirituality never rejects practical wisdom. True Dharma protects life because life itself is Mahadev's greatest gift. Story of Markandeya. The Shiva Purana tells the inspiring story of Markandeya. He was destined to live only 16 years. Yet through unwavering devotion of Lord Shiva, he embraced the Shivlinga as Yama, the Lord of Death, approached. Shiva appeared, stopped Yama, and blessed Markandeya with long life. Notice something profound. Markandeya did not seek death to prove his devotion. He prayed for union with Shiva, and Shiva preserved his life. Why? Because life is an opportunity for Dharma. Every breath, every sunrise, every relationship is another chance to grow spiritually. If Mahadev himself protects life, shouldn't his devotees do the same? Lesson 2. Every step towards Mahadev should be conscious. Now let us walk a little further. Observe a Kavadiya carefully. One careless movement, one moment of distraction can disturb the balance of Kawad. That is why experienced pilgrims walk with remarkable awareness, slowly, steadily, mindfully. The Bhagavad Gita says, Yoga karmasu kaushalam. Yoga is excellence and awareness in action. Bhagavad Gita chapter 2 verse 50. Notice, Krishna did not say yoga exists only inside meditation halls. He says yoga exists in action. The Kawad Yatra transforms every step into meditation. When your feet are aware, the mind becomes aware. When the mind becomes aware, life becomes aware. Unfortunately, most of us live differently. We eat while scrolling. We drive while thinking. We speak without listening. We pray without attention. We live mechanically. Mahadev calls us back to awareness. Walking consciously is not only about avoiding accidents. It is about awakening from unconscious living. Every step asks, where is your mind? Are you here or somewhere else? A modern reflection. Think about driving. Suppose you chant Om Namah Shivaya consciously, but while driving, you ignore traffic signals. Would Shiva be pleased? No, because awareness itself is worship. This is why during Kawad Yatra, drivers also participate in pilgrimage. When they slow down, give space to pilgrims, avoid unnecessary honking, and exercise patience, they too are serving Mahadev. The pilgrimage belongs not only to those carrying the Kawad, it belongs to everyone who protects them. Lesson 3. Chant Bol Bum with the mouth. Practice discipline with your action. One of the most beautiful sounds during Shravan is Bol Bum. The chant echoes across villages, across highways, across cities. It fills the atmosphere with devotion. But Mahadev quietly asks another question. Does your conduct echo the same devotion? The Shiva Purana glorifies the power of his name. Shiveti Dvaksharanamam Mahapapa Pranashanam. The two-syllable name Shiva destroys great sins when remembered with devotion. But what happens after chanting? Does anger reduces? Does arrogance soften? Does patience increase? If chanting remains only on the lips, it has not yet reached the heart. Imagine carrying Gangajal with great care, then arguing with fellow pilgrim over small inconveniences. Imagine shouting Bol Bum, yet disrespecting volunteers who are serving tirelessly. Imagine visiting Mahadev but forgetting kindness. That is not the purpose of yatra. Discipline is devotion in visible form. Stand in queues patiently. Respect police officers. Follow traffic guidance. Protect public property. Speak gently. Offer help before it is requested. Then every chant of Bolbam becomes alive. Story, the hunter and the Shiva. Let us see story of the hunter and Shiva. There is a beloved tradition about simple hunter who is unknowingly worshipped Shiva. He spent the night in a tree to stay safe from wild animals. To remain awake, he plucked leaves and dropped them below. Unknown to him, a Shivlinga lay beneath the tree. The leaves were bilby leaves. All night he remained alert, awake, focused. His unintentional worship pleased Lord Shiva because it marked by sincerity and vigilance. The story teaches that Lord values the quality of the heart more than elaborate rituals. Awareness transforms ordinary actions into sacred offerings. Lesson 4. True tapasya strengthens the body, not breaks it. Many people believe tapasya means suffering. That is incomplete. The Bhagavad Gita gives a very different understanding. Yukta har viharasya yuktas cheshtasya karmasu Yukta swapnava bodhasya yogo bhavati dukkha. Bhagavad Gita, chapter 6, verse 17. For one who is balanced in food, recreation, effort, sleep, and wakefulness, yoga destroys sorrow. Look carefully. Krishna did not glorify excess. He glorified balance. Mahadev himself teaches balance. He meditates deeply, yet dances as Nataraj. He sits in silence, yet protects the universe. He is detached, yet infinitely compassionate. That is tapasya. During the Kawad Yatra, some devotee hesitate to drink enough water. Some ignore exhaustion. Some continue despite serious physical distress. This is not courage. This is carelessness. Your body is the vehicle through which Dharma is lived. Care for it with reverence. Drink water regularly. Use ORS if needed. Take appropriate rest. Eat nourishing food. Help someone struggling in the heat. Share your umbrella. Offer a bottle of water. Support an elderly pilgrim. This too is tapasya. Because tapasya is not merely enduring hardship, it is choosing wisdom over ego. Story of Nilkantha. Perhaps the greatest example comes from Samudra Manthan. When the deadly halahal poison emerged, gods and demons were helpless. Shiva drank the poison, but noticed something remarkable. He did not swallow it into his body, nor did he spit it back into the world. He held it in his throat, becoming Nilkantha. What is the lesson? True tapasya is not allowing negativity to poison your heart, nor spreading it into society. Hold it, transform it, and let compassion emerge. Every pilgrim will face discomfort, heat, fatigue, crowds, delays. The question is not whether difficulties arise. The question is, will they make you bitter or better? Now let us pause. 4 lessons. Yet they describe entire way of living. Protect the life Mahadev has given you. Walk with awareness. Let your discipline match your devotion. Practice tapasya with wisdom and balance. These are not lessons only for Kawad Yatra. These are the lessons for every day. Every office can become pilgrimage. Every home can become ashram. Every responsibility can become worship. Every road can become path to Kailash. That is vision of spiritually wealthy Gurukul. Because spirituality is not something we practice for 1 month of Shravan. It is something we live in every thought, every word, every action. But the journey is not complete. Once the devotee has learned discipline, Mahadev opens the heart even further. The next 4 lessons reveal the flowering of devotion into compassion. We will discover why serving a thirsty pilgrim is worship, why protecting nature is an offering to Shiva, why character is more valuable than ritual, why Mahadev walks beside those who live responsibly. Har Har Mahadev. My dear friends, the first 4 lessons taught us how to discipline ourselves, protect life, walk consciously, let discipline accompany devotion, practice tapasya with wisdom. Now Mahadev takes us to the next stage. The purpose of spirituality is not merely to control yourself, it is to expand yourself. As devotion deepens, the heart becomes larger, compassion becomes natural. The devotee begins to see Mahadev not only in temple but in every living being. This is where the Kawad Yatra transforms from personal pilgrimage into journey of universal love. Lesson 5. Seva to Shiva begins with Seva to fellow pilgrims. Imagine reaching a crowded Seva camp. Thousands of Kavadiyas have walked for hours. Some are exhausted, some are dehydrated, some have blisters, some elderly pilgrims struggle to take another step. Now imagine 2 devotees. One rushes straight towards the temple. The other notices an elderly pilgrim struggling to lift his kawad. He quietly walks over, supports the kawad, offers water, walks beside him for a while, and smiles. Tell me, which one reached Mahadev first? The answer may surprise you, the second devotee. Because before Mahadev accepts your flower, he observes how you treat his children. The Bhagavad Gita gives us a beautiful vision. Yomam pashyati sarvatra sarvam chamai pashyati. One who sees me everywhere and sees everything in me is never separated from me. Bhagavad Gita, chapter 6, verse 30. This is not poetry, this is a way of seeing. When you see a tired pilgrim, see Mahadev. When you serve food, offer it to Mahadev. When you clean a resting place, Prepare it for Mahadev. When you guide someone who has lost the way, you are guiding Mahadev. This is why Shiva is called Bhutanatha, the Lord of all beings. Not merely the Lord of temples, not merely the Lord of ascetics, the Lord of every living being. Let us see the story of the old woman at Kashi. A traditional story often told by saints speaks of an old woman who wished to offer worship to Lord Vishwanath in Kashi. On her way, she found a hungry and exhausted sadhu lying by the roadside. She had prepared food for her offering. Without hesitation, she gave all the food to sadhu. Disappointed, she entered the temple empty-handed. That night, she dreamt of Lord Shiva smiling. He said, "Today you fed me before you come to my temple." Whether the story is treated as history or sacred teaching is secondary. Its message is timeless. The quickest path to Shiva's heart passes through compassion. This is why our Gurukul teaches Seva is love made visible. Knowledge may impress, meditation may calm, but service transforms. Lesson 6. Purity of mind must be matched by purity of nature. Now let us look around during the yatra. The roads are filled with devotees. Villages welcome pilgrims. Volunteers work tirelessly. Nature itself participates in Shravan. Trees provide shade. Clouds bring relief. Rivers nourish life. Yet sometimes plastic bottles, food wrappers, and waste are left behind. Let me ask you, can we worship the Creator while polluting His creation? The answer is obvious. The Ishavasya Upanishad begins with one of the most profound declarations. Ishavasyamidam sarvam yat kinchit jagatyam jagat. All this, whatever moves in this universe, is pervaded by the Lord. If everything belongs to the Lord, then every tree belongs to Shiva. Every river belongs to Shiva. Every mountain belongs to Shiva. Every bird belongs to Shiva. When you throw waste carelessly, where does it fall? Into Shiva's creation. When you protect nature, whom are you serving? Shiva himself. Remember, the Ganga is not merely a river. She is revered as Mother Ganga. The forests are not merely forests, they are living body of nature. The Himalayas are not merely mountains, they are abode of Mahadev. Our ancestors never separated ecology from spirituality. To them, protecting nature was worship. A modern pilgrimage. Imagine every Kawadiya carrying one small cloth bag, not only to avoid littering but also to collect waste along the route. What would happen? The pilgrimage itself would become a movement of environmental dharma. People would remember not only the devotion of pilgrims but also the cleanliness they left behind. Imagine villagers saying, wherever the Kavadiyas pass, they left the roads cleaner than before. Would that not make Mahadev smile? Purity outside reflects the purity inside. Lesson 7. The Kawad carries Gangajal. Your character carries Shiva's grace. Now let me ask a difficult question. After the Gangajal is offered, what remains? The water has been poured. The ritual is complete. But something else remains, your character. The Bhagavad Gita describes the true devotee. Adveshta sarva bhutana maitra karuna evacha. Free from hatred, friendly, and compassionate towards all beings. Bhagavad Gita chapter 12 verse 13. Notice, Krishna does not begin by describing rituals. He begins by describing character. Because rituals may last an hour, character lasts lifetime. You may forget the distance you walked, you may forget the songs you sung, but your family will always remember. Whether the pilgrimage made you more patient, more humble, more truthful, more loving, that is the real fruit of the yatra. Do you remember Kannappa? Let us revisit the story of Kannappa. He knew no elaborate rituals, no Sanskrit, no scriptures, but he knew love. He offered whatever he had. His devotion flowed from character, not from perfection. That is why Shiva embraced him as one of his greatest devotees. Today, Mahadev is not asking us, how many kilometers did you walk? He asks, how many hearts did you heal? How much ego did you surrender? How truthful did you become? The Kawad carries Gangajal. but your life carries your values. Wherever you go after the yatra, people should say something has changed in this person. He has become calmer. She has become kinder. There is a new light in their life. That is Shiva's grace. Spiritually wealthy Gurukul reflection. At spiritually wealthy Gurukul, we say that wealth has four dimensions: material wealth, emotional wealth, intellectual wealth, spiritual wealth. A person may return from pilgrimage with beautiful photographs, new clothes, and souvenirs. But if anger remains the same, if jealousy remains the same, if selfishness remains the same, the outer journey happened. The inner journey did not. Mahadev is interested in inner journey. Lesson 8. Shiva walks with those who walks responsibly. Many people say Mahadev will protect me. Yes, he will. But how? Through wisdom, through alertness, through responsibility, through the people he places on your path. The Bhagavad Gita declares, Ananyas chintayanto mam ye jana parupasate tesha nityabhiyuktanam yogakshemam vahamyaham. Bhagavad Gita chapter 9 verse 22. Those who think of me as with single-pointed devotion, I carry what they need and preserve what they have. Notice the beautiful expression. Krishna says, I carry. How does the Lord carry us? Sometimes through a volunteer who offers water, sometimes through a doctor at a medical camp, sometimes through a police officer directing traffic, sometimes through a stranger who notices danger before we do. Grace often wears ordinary clothes. Let us see the story of Shiva as Kirata. The Mahabharata tells the famous story of Arjun performing severe penance to obtain the Pashupathastra. Lord Shiva did not appear immediately in his divine form. He came disguised as a Kirata, a tribal hunter. Arjuna did not recognize him. Only after providing his courage, humility, and perseverance did Shiva reveal himself and bless him. The lesson: Mahadev often walks beside us unnoticed. During the Kawad Yatra, the volunteer serving food, the person cleaning the road, the doctor dressing blisters, the driver patiently waiting, the police officer managing traffic, may all be instruments of His grace. Treat them with respect. Responsibility is spirituality. Responsibility means walk together. Do not leave children unattended. Carry identification. Carry essential medicines. Inform someone if you feel unwell. Help lost pilgrims. Avoid reckless behavior. These are not merely safety instructions, they are expression of Dharma. Because Dharma always protects life. The grand reflection. The first four lessons taught us self-mastery. The next four teach us the heart mastery. Serve every pilgrim as Mahadev. Protect nature as Mahadev's sacred creation. Build character worthy of Shiva's grace. Walk responsibly, trusting that Mahadev works through people as well as miracles. When these lessons become natural, the pilgrimage changes forever. You no longer travel alone. Every person becomes family. Every tree becomes sacred. Every act of kindness becomes worship. Every responsible decision becomes an offering. This is no longer merely the Kawad Yatra. This is the flowering of Dharma. But one final transformation still remains. Every compassionate person can quietly carry ego. Every disciplined pilgrim can become attached to the idea of being a great devotee. Mahadev now reveals the last and highest lesson of Yatra. We will discover why surrender is different from carelessness, why gratitude completes every pilgrimage, and why the greatest offering of Lord Shiva is not simply reaching the temple, but returning home with a transformed heart, ready to live as instruments of Dharma. Har Har Mahadev. My dear friends, we have walked together through sacred pilgrimage. We have learned discipline, we have learned compassion, we have learned service, we have learned responsibility. But Mahadev now reveals the final secret. The greatest obstacle on the spiritual path is not the difficult road. It is not the heavy coward. It is not even physical exhaustion. The greatest obstacle is the invisible burden we carry within, the burden of ego. Lesson 9. Surrender your ego, not your awareness. There is a misunderstanding that has quietly entered spirituality. Some people believe surrender means whatever happens, happens. I don't need to think. I don't need to be careful. Mahadev will take care of everything. No, that is not surrender. That is negligence. Real surrender is very different. Imagine a child holding the father's hand while crossing a busy road. Does the child close his eyes? No. He remains alert, but he is fearless. That is surrender, faith, combined with awareness. The Bhagavad Gita describes one of the first qualities of true wisdom, amanitvam adambitvam, humility and freedom from pretense. Bhagavad Gita, chapter 13, verse 8. Notice, Krishna begins with humility, not scholarship, not ritual, not miracles, humility. Because ego binds, humility awakes. The invisible enemy. Suppose someone walks for 100 kilometers. People applauded him, take photographs, offer respect. Slowly, a dangerous thought enters. I am a great devotee. The pilgrimage has succeeded, but the ego has also become stronger. Mahadev smiles and asks, you carried the Kawad, but did you also carry your pride? The purpose of yatra is not to increase spiritual status, it is to dissolve it. The Shivlinga itself teaches this. Smooth, simple, silent, without decoration, without display. Greatness never announces itself. Let us see the story of Ravana's final lesson. Do you remember Ravana? Earlier we admired his extraordinary devotion. But now let us understand the final lesson. His devotion brought him close to Shiva. His ego separated him from Dharma. He conquered kingdoms, but not himself. That is why the greatest victory is not over others. It is over our own pride. Every step of Kawad Yatra ask, what are you carrying today? Gangajal or ego? Offer the second one. Mahadev will gladly accept it. Lesson 10. Complete the pilgrimage with gratitude, not just distance. Imagine two devotees reaching the temple. The first proudly says, I walked 500 kilometers. The second quietly folds his hand. His eyes are filled with tears. He remembers the stranger who offered the water, the doctor who treated his blisters, the volunteer who gave food, the family who opened their home, the police officer who protected the route, the friend who encouraged him, the unknown people who smiled. Tell me who truly complete the pilgrimage. The second, because gratitude completes what distance cannot. The Bhagavad Gita teaches, Shraddhavan labate gnanam. The one endowed with the faith attains wisdom. Bhagavad Gita, chapter 4, verse 39. Faith naturally blossoms into gratitude. The ego says, I completed the yatra. The gratitude says, I was carried. Mahadev walked beside you. Think carefully who gave you strength on difficult days, who protected you from dangers you never even noticed, who arranged the right people at right moment, who gave you legs the strength to continue, who kept your heart beating thousands of times during the journey without your effort. Mahadev. We often remember him only at the destination, but he was walking beside us from the very first step. Gratitude opens our eyes. Suddenly, everything becomes grace. The rain becomes grace. The sunshine becomes grace. Even the blister becomes grace. Because they remind us that transformation always has a price. Let us see the story of the Bilva leaf. A beautiful Shiva tradition tells us that every single Bilva leaf offered with genuine devotion delights Mahadev. Not because he needed a leaf, but because he receives the love behind it. Similarly, when you say, thank you, Mahadev, he is not collecting your words, he is witnessing your heart. Gratitude is the fragrance of devotion. Lesson 11. Mahadev is pleased when every devotee returns home safely. Now comes perhaps the most important lessons of entire yatra. Imagine the temple, thousands of devotees. The bell rings. Gangajal is finally offered. Everyone chants, Har Har Mahadev. But imagine another scene. Back home, a mother waits, a wife waits, children wait, friends wait. They have prayed every day for the one thing, may our loved one return safely. Tell me honestly, which prayer would Mahadev answer? The offering inside the temple or the tears outside the home? Both. Because Mahadev belongs to everyone. That is why true devotion protects life. Never glorify recklessness. Never mistake carelessness for courage. Wear reflective clothing. Rest when needed. Drink water. Follow instructions. Help fellow pilgrims. Return home safely. The pilgrimage does not end at the temple. It ends when your family embraces you again. The greatest offering. Many devotees believe Gangajal is the final offering. No. Gangajal is the visible offering. The invisible offering is far greater. Offer your anger, offer your greed, offer your jealousy, offer your impatience, offer your pride, offer your fear. Pour this upon the inner Shivlinga. The Mahadev smiles because the greatest Abhisheka is purification of heart. Grand synthesis. Now let us stand back and see the entire Kawad Yatra. What appeared to be 11 separate lessons is actually one complete spiritual journey. Lesson 1, protect life, because every life belongs to Shiva. Lesson 2, walk with awareness, because awareness is meditation in motion. Lesson 3, let your conduct match your chanting, because character is louder than slogans. Lesson 4, practice balance tapasya, because wisdom is greater than suffering. Lesson 5, serve every pilgrim, because every being is Mahadev. Lesson 6, protect nature, because creation is Shiva's body. Lesson 7, build nobler character, because rituals finish, character remains. Lesson 8, walk responsibly, because Dharma protects those who protect Dharma. Lesson 9, surrender ego, not awareness. Lesson 10, complete the journey with gratitude, not pride. Lesson 11, return home safely because your family is also a part of your Dharma. Now, can you see it? This was never merely a pilgrimage, it was complete education in living. The three levels of spiritually wealthy Gurukul. This is exactly why spiritually wealthy Gurukul speaks of three stages of transformation. Not because we created them, but because Mahadev has always taught them. War level. The first battle is against yourself, against laziness, against excuses, against distraction, against unhealthy habits, against anger, against greed, against fear. Every blister teaches discipline. Every early morning teaches commitment. Every difficult kilometer builds inner strength. This is your Kurukshetra. Until you win this war, no higher spirituality is possible. Garden level. Once the weeds are removed, the garden begins to bloom. Compassion grows, forgiveness grows, patience grows, generosity grows. You begin serving others without being asked. You celebrate another person's success. You stop comparing. Your presence becomes peaceful. This is the fragrance of devotion. Now people feel better simply because you entered the room like a flower. You never announce your fragrance, you simply spread it. This is garden level. Liberation level. Finally, Mahadev asks the greatest question. Who fought the war? Who cultivated the garden? Who completed the pilgrimage? Who is a devotee? Who is Shiva? Who is the one aware of all these experiences? The Upanishad answers with breathtaking simplicity. Aham Brahmasmi. I am Brahman. Not this body, not this mind, not this ego. The same consciousness shines through all beings. Same consciousness appears as pilgrim, as Gangajal, as Shivlinga, as mountains, as rivers, as the universe. This is Advaita, the highest teaching of Mahadev. The outer pilgrimage ends at the temple. The inner pilgrimage ends only when pilgrim disappears. And only Shiva remains. Final story. The saints tell a beautiful story. A disciple climbed Mount Kailasha after years of severe tapasya. Breathless, he fell before Mahadev. He said, Lord, I have finally reached you. Mahadev smiled gently. My child, you have not reached me today. The disciple looked surprised. Shiva continued, I was the strength in your legs. I was the air in your lungs. I was the stranger who gave you water. I was the doctor who dressed your wounds. I was the volunteer who smiled at you. I was the mountain beneath your feet. I was a mantra on your lips. I walked with you long before you saw me. The disciple began to weep. For the first time, he understood Kailasha was not destination. It was a way of seeing. My dear friends, when this Shravan ends, do not leave the Kawad behind. Carry its lesson into your home. Carry them into your workplace. Carry them into your relationships. Carry them into your business. Carry them into your nation. Carry them into your own heart. Fight your inner war with courage. Grow with inner garden with love. Realize your true self in freedom. That is the real Kawad Yatra. That is teaching of Mahadev. That is the vision of spiritually wealthy Gurukul. And in our next chapter, we leave outer pilgrimage behind and enter the deepest teaching of Lord Shiva. The three stages of spiritual evolution: war level, garden level, liberation level. We will discover why every seeker must first become a warrior, then a gardener, and finally awaken as infinite self. Until then, walk with awareness, serve with compassion, live with gratitude, and remember, you are not walking towards Mahadev. Mahadev has been walking with you all along. Har Har Mahadev, Om Namah Shivaya. My dear friends, if I ask you one question, why did Mahadev call you? Many people will answer to perform Kawad Yatra. Some will say to offer Gangajal. Others will say to receive blessings. All these answers are beautiful, but none of them are complete. Because Mahadev never calls us merely to change our location. He calls us to change our evolution. The real destination of every spiritual journey is not Kailasha, it is transformation. And every transformation happens in three stages. This is not philosophy invented by spiritually wealthy Gurukul. It is the pattern we repeatedly discover in Lord Shiva's life, in scriptures, and in lives of great seekers. We call this three stages: war level, garden level, and liberation level. Today, let us understand Mahadev through these three stages, the three faces of Shiva. When the most people look at Shiva, they see only deity. The sages saw three dimensions. They saw the warrior, the yogi, the absolute, the destroyer of adharma, nourisher of dharma, the infinite consciousness beyond all names and forms. These three are not separate. They are stages of one awakening, exactly like a seed, a tree, and the fruit. Stage 1, war level, the battle against yourself. The first question every seeker asks, why is my life full of struggle? Mahadev smiles because struggle is the first guru. Look at Shiva. Before becoming the compassionate father of the universe, he was the destroyer of inner darkness. He destroys Tripurasura. He destroys Andhaka. He destroys ignorance. Notice carefully, every demon in Puranas also represents an inner tendency. Tripurasura is tyranny of identification with body, mind, and ego. Andhaka represents spiritual blindness. Kama represents uncontrolled desire. The real battlefield is within. Arjuna's battlefield and your battlefield. The Bhagavad Gita begins not in ashram, not in temple, but on a battlefield. Why? Because spiritual life begins when you stop escaping your battles. Your battlefield is different. Perhaps yours is diabetes. Perhaps yours is debt. Perhaps yours is anxiety. Perhaps yours is procrastination. Perhaps yours is addiction. Perhaps yours is uncontrolled anger. Every morning, Mahadev asks only one question: will you fight today? Not against people, against your lower nature. The story of Shiva burning Kama. One of the greatest stories in Shiva Purana tells Kamadeva attempting to disturb Shiva's meditation. The gods wanted Shiva to marry Parvati for the welfare of universe. Kamadeva shot his arrow of desire. Shiva opened his third eye, and Kama was reduced to ashes. Many misunderstand this story. Shiva does not destroy love. He destroyed slavery to desire. Desire should serve wisdom. Wisdom should never serve desire. That is war level. Every time you say no to destructive habit, you are opening your third eye. The modern war. War level is not about fighting the world. It is about conquering yourself. When the alarm rings at 3:30 a.m., war begins. When unhealthy food tempts you, war begins. When anger rises, war begins. When laziness whispers, tomorrow, war begins. Victory is not dramatic. Victory is daily. One disciplined decision repeated consistently. This is why the Kawad Yatra begins with walking, because disciplined feet eventually create disciplined mind. Shiva's trident. Have you ever wondered why Shiva carries a trishul? It is not merely a weapon, it is teaching. Its 3 points reminds us conquer three enemies: tamas, inertia; rajas, restless craving, and false ego, the feeling of separateness. When these are mastered, the warrior is born. But a warrior alone cannot build beautiful world. Imagine a person who has conquered laziness, yet has no compassion, who is disciplined but harsh, strong but cold. The journey is incomplete. Mahadev now opens the heart. Stage 2, garden level, from discipline to compassion. Once the weeds are removed, the garden can bloom. Notice Shiva's family: Nandi the bull, the lion of Parvati, the peacock of Kartikeya, the mouse of Ganesha, the serpent around Shiva's neck, natural enemies, yet all live together. Why? Because Shiva's home represents harmony. The garden level is about creating harmony within and around us. The greatest miracle. People ask, what is Shiva's greatest miracle? Was it drinking poison? Was it carrying Ganga? Was it destroying demons? Perhaps. But his greatest miracle is this: he transforms enemies into family. That is a miracle every seeker must perform. Can you transform anger into patience, competition into collaboration, possession into service? That is blooming of garden. Story of Nandi. Nandi is not merely Shiva's vehicle. Nandi represents perfect listening. Every temple places Nandi facing the Shivling, always watching, always waiting, never distracted, never impatient. The message: before speaking, learn to listen. Before reacting, learn to observe. Before judging, learn to understand. The garden level begins when listening becomes deeper than speaking. The garden of relationships. Many people meditate beautifully, then shout at family, perform elaborate rituals, then insult employees, visit temples, then disrespect parents. Mahadev asks, what is the use? The true temple is your relationship with people. Can your spouse experience peace because of you? Can your children feel safe around you? Can your colleagues trust you? Can strangers experience kindness through you? Then your garden is blooming. Seva. This is why spiritually wealthy Gurukul places enormous importance on seva. Knowledge without service becomes pride. Meditation without compassion becomes escape. Success without generosity becomes loneliness. The garden blossoms only when the fragrance is shared. Let us see the story of Mother Ganga. Why does Ganga flow continuously? Because she never drinks her own water. The tree never eats its own fruit. The sun never shines only for itself. The flower never smells its own fragrance. Nature teaches seva. Mahadev teaches seva. The garden level is living for something larger than yourself. The warrior has conquered himself. The gardener has opened his heart. Now Mahadev whispers, the final step remains. Stage 3, liberation level, the end of pilgrim. Every spiritual journey eventually reaches one question. Who is the one walking? The body, the mind, the ego, or something deeper? Dakshinamurti. Among all forms of Shiva, perhaps none more profound than Dakshinamurti, the silent guru. No sermons, no debates, no arguments, only silence. Why? Because truth cannot be manufactured by words. It is discovered in silence. The story of mirror. Imagine standing before a mirror. You smile, the reflection smiles. You cry, the reflection cries. But the mirror itself never becomes happy, never becomes sad. Your consciousness is exactly like that. Thoughts appear, emotions appear, success appear, failure appears. The witnessing awareness remains untouched. That witnessing awareness is what Upanishads call the self. Shiva as pure consciousness. This is why Shiva meditates, not because he needs peace. He is peace. He meditates to teach us our own nature. The Upanishad declare, Aham Brahmasmi, I am Brahman, and Tattvamasi, thou art that. These are not statements of arrogance, they are statements of awakening. The wave realizes I was never separate from the ocean. The coward disappears. Now return to the coward. Who carries it? Initially I carried it. Later I was blessed to carry it. And finally there was only Mahadev. The devotee disappears, only devotion remains. The river disappears, only ocean remains. This is liberation. The three levels together. Now let us see the complete picture. War level asks, what must I conquer? Your laziness, your fear, your anger, your desires, your excuses. Garden level asks, what must I cultivate? Compassion, patience, truthfulness, generosity, humility, and love. Liberation level asks, who is one conquering and cultivating? The answer is the witness, the pure awareness, Shiva himself. The seed. Imagine holding a seed. Inside the tiny seed, three futures exist. The struggle to break the soil, the flowering tree, the sweet fruit. If the seed refuses struggle, no tree. If the tree refuses flowering, no fruit. Likewise, without war, no garden. Without garden, no liberation. Every stage is sacred. Every stage prepares the next. Spiritually wealthy Gurukul. This is why our Gurukul is structured in these three stages. We never begin with abstract philosophy. First, master your habits. Build discipline, become reliable. Win the inner war. Then expand your heart. Serve, forgive, lead. Become source of peace. Only then enter the highest teachings of Advaita. Because without discipline, knowledge becomes information. Without compassion, knowledge becomes ego. And with discipline and compassion mature together, self-knowledge becomes liberation. The final vision. Imagine a world where every devotee of Mahadev lives this way. A warrior against his own weaknesses. A gardener in every relationship. A liberated being. Seeing Shiva everywhere. Crime decreases, families become peaceful, business becomes ethical, society becomes compassionate, nature becomes protected. This is not imagination, this is Dharma lived. My dear friends, do not ask, which level am I? Ask, what is Mahadev inviting me to grow into today? If you are fighting your habits, fight courageously. If your heart is opening, serve joyfully. If silence is calling you, meditate deeply. The beauty of Shiva is this. He never forces evolution. He patiently awaits. Like the Himalayas, like the Ganga, like entirety itself. And one day the warrior lays down his weapons. The gardener rests beneath flowering tree. The seeker disappears. Only Shiva remains. That is the highest purpose of the Kawad Yatra. That is the essence of Sanatana Dharma. That is the living vision of spiritually wealthy Gurukul. Har Har Mahadev Om Namah Shivaya. We have understood the call of Mahadev, the symbolism of Kawad, the 11 lesson hidden in pilgrimage, The three stages of spiritual evolution, one final question remains. If the highest truth is that Shiva is not separate from us, then what is the ultimate secret of Lord Shiva? In our concluding chapter, we will uncover the Advaitic vision of Mahadev, the mystery that the devotee, the pilgrimage, the Guru, and Shiva are ultimately one individual reality. That is the final secret of Kailasha. My dear friends, close your eyes for a moment. Imagine yourself standing before Lord Shiva. The bells are ringing. The fragrance of bilva leaves fills the air. Your feet are tired. Your shoulders are sore. The Gangajal has finally reached the Shivlinga. You fold your hands and offer the sacred water. Now let me ask you one final question. Who offered it? You? Or was there something much deeper taking place? Today, Mahadev reveals his greatest secret, the secret that ends every pilgrimage, the secret that ends every question, the secret that ends seeker himself. The greatest misunderstanding. Almost every spiritual journey begins with one assumption. I am here and God is there. The pilgrim is here, the temple is there. The journey is here, the destination is there. The disciple is here, the guru is there. This separation is necessary in the beginning. Without it, devotion cannot begin. But this separation continues forever. Liberation never happens. The purpose of bhakti is to dissolve the distance. Why Shiva is always silent? Have you ever noticed something extraordinary? Among all deities, Shiva spends the most time in silence. Why? Because silence teaches what words cannot. Words create distinction. Silence reveals unity. Imagine the ocean. Thousands of waves arise. One wave says, I am small. Another says, I am powerful. Another says, I am beautiful. But the ocean smiles because every wave is only water. The wave is never separate from ocean. Similarly, the devotee, the guru, the pilgrimage, the universe are never separate from consciousness. That consciousness is Shiva, the story of salt. The Chandogya Upanishad gives one most beautiful teaching. A father asks his son to dissolve salt in water. The next morning he says, bring me the salt. The son searches. It has disappeared. The father says, taste the water from the top. It is salty. Taste from the middle. It is salty. Taste from the bottom. It is salty. Then the father smiles. You cannot see the salt, but it is present everywhere. Likewise, you may not see Shiva with your eyes, but wherever consciousness exists, Shiva is present. Within you, within me, within every pilgrim, within every atom. The real Kailasha. People ask, where is Kailasha? Some point towards Himalayas, other point toward Tibet. The scripture smiles. The Kena Upanishad asks, by whom is the mind directed? What is aware of your thoughts? What knows your joy? What witness your sorrow? The witnessing awareness is the real Kailasha. The mountain outside points towards the mountain within. The pilgrim was never separate. Now let us revisit the Kawad Yatra. Initially you believe I am carrying Gangajal to Shiva. Later you begin to feel Mahadev is helping me complete this journey. And finally a profound shift occurs. There is no I. Only the journey, the grace, the Shiva, the one carrying, one carried, and one receiving become one reality. Dakshinamurti's silent teaching. Among all forms of Shiva, Dakshinamurti is perhaps the highest expression of Advaita. Imagine four brilliant sages sitting before him. They ask no question, he gives no lecture, he simply remains silent. The ancient verse declares, Mauna Vyakhya Prakatita Parabrahma Tattvam Yuvanam. Through silence, he revealed the truth of Supreme Brahman. Why silence? Because truth is not information, truth is recognition. No one can hand you your own self, you discover it. The mirror story. Stand before a mirror. You were a child. The mirror reflected you. You became an adult. The mirror reflected you. Your hair turned grey. Still, The mirror reflected you. The reflections changed. The mirror never changed. Likewise, the body changes, thoughts changes, relationship changes, success changes, failure changes. The witness never changes. That witness is Shiva, not somewhere else, here, now. Shiva is not a person. This is perhaps the boldest statement in the entire masterclass. Shiva is not merely a divine personality living somewhere in the Himalayas. He certainly appears as a deity for the sake of devotion. But the scriptures reveal something even deeper. Shiva is pure being, pure awareness, pure consciousness, infinite, birthless, deathless, formless. The same consciousness looks through your eyes, hearts, hears through your ears, thinks through your mind. The Brahadaranyaka Upanishad declares, Neti, Neti, not this, not this. Whatever can be seen is not ultimate nature. Whatever comes and goes cannot be eternal self. What remains, pure awareness, is that Shiva. The story of space in the pot. The sages loved simple examples. Imagine a clay pot. Inside the pot, space. Outside the pot, space. When the pot breaks, does the space inside merge with the space outside? No. They were never truly divided. Only the pot created the appearance of separation. Likewise, the body is like the pot. The ego is like the pot. The birth creates the appearance and individuality. Death removes the appearance. Consciousness was always one. The devotee never merges with Shiva. The devotee discovers he was never separate. Natarajas dance. Why does Shiva dance? Because existence itself is a dance. Creation, preservation, dissolution, concealment, grace. These five cosmic acts are represented in Nataraja. Look carefully. One foot crushes the draft called apasmara. Apasmara represents forgetfulness, spiritual ignorance. The greatest problem is not sin. It is forgetting who we truly are. Every Upanishad, every Guru, every pilgrimage exists only to remove this forgetfulness. The three level revisited. Do you now understand why spiritually wealthy Gurukul teaches wall level, garden level, and liberation level? Wall level removes your impurities. Garden level refines your heart. Liberation level removes the final illusion, the illusion that you were ever separate from Shiva. The warrior disappears, the gardener disappears, only consciousness remains. The final story. There is a beautiful legend about a devotee who spent 40 years climbing to Kailash. Every day he prayed, Mahadev, please grant me your darshan. Finally, old and exhausted, he reached the summit. He entered the sacred cave. No one was there. He wept, Lord, I spent my entire life searching for you. A gentle voice echoed, my child, turn around. He turned, no one. Again the voice came, turn around. Not with your body, with your understanding. Suddenly he saw the one whose searching was itself illumined by the consciousness he sought. The seeker, the search, and Shiva were never different. He laughed, he cried, he bowed, not before someone else, but before the truth. The great Mahavakya, the Upanishad gives us four great declarations. Pragnanam Brahma, consciousness is Brahman. Aham Brahmasmi, I am Brahman. Tattvamasi, thou art that. I am Atma Brahman. The self is Brahman. Notice none of them say you will become Brahman. They declare you already are. Ignorance hides it. Knowledge reveals it. Exactly as a cloud hides the sun. The sun never stops shining. The real Abhisheka. Until now, you thought Abhisheka meant pouring Gangajal over the Shivlinga. Now Mahadev whispers, the greatest Abhisheka is pouring knowledge over ignorance. The water cleans the stone, knowledge cleans the mind, the stone becomes sacred, the heart becomes free. The ultimate meaning of Har Har Mahadev. Millions chant Har Har Mahadev. Do you know its deepest meaning? One beautiful traditional understanding is every being is manifestation of Mahadev. Not only saints, not only monks, not only pilgrims, every living being. When you greet another person with Har Har Mahadev, you are remaining yourself. The same consciousness shines in both of us. Imagine living this truth. Hatred becomes impossible. Violence becomes impossible. Jealousy becomes impossible because whom would you hate when only Shiva exists? Spiritually wealthy Gurukul's mission. This is why our mission is not merely to teach scriptures, not merely to conduct courses, not merely to explain Vedanta. Our mission is to help people recognize what the sages recognized. Fight your inner war, cultivate your inner garden, awaken to your true nature. This is not escaping the world, it is seeing the world correctly, living with excellence, serving with compassion, knowing with clarity. The final invitation. So, the next time you see Kawad, do not merely see pilgrim, see consciousness, walking towards consciousness. The next time you pour Gangajal, do not merely pour water, offer your ego, offer your fear, offer your ignorance. The next time you stand before a Shivlinga, remain silent for just one moment. Do not ask for anything, simply notice. The awareness by which you know the temple, the mantra, the bells, the breath, the awareness is already full, already complete, already free. Grand benediction. May Mahadev bless your body with strength to perform Dharma. May he bless your mind with wisdom to choose rightly. May he bless your heart with compassion to serve all beings. May he bless your intellect with light of self-knowledge. May every step become pilgrimage. May every action become worship. May every relationship become seva. May every challenge become tapasya. May every breath become Om Namah Shivaya. And may you one day discover not merely that you love Shiva, not merely that Shiva loves you, but the highest truth sung by the sages for thousands of years. There is only Shiva. Har Har Mahadev. Om Tat Sat. If this masterclass has inspired your heart, do not let the pilgrimage end here. A journey begins with devotion, matures through disciplined living, blossoms into compassionate service, and cultivates in self-knowledge. That is the path we walk together at Spiritually Wealthy Gurukul. From the wall level through garden level into freedom of liberation. May Lord Shiva guide every step of your inner pilgrimage. Har Har Mahadev. My dear friends, if you have stayed with me until this moment, then perhaps this was never just another YouTube video for you. Perhaps Mahadev wanted us to meet today. Over the last few moments, we did not simply learn about Kawad Yatra, we walk it together. We discovered that the bamboo is balance. The Gangajal is purity, the road is Guru, the pilgrim is seeker. The destination is transformation, and Shiva is the very consciousness that shines in all of us. But now let me ask you a question. When this video ends, will your pilgrimage end too? Or will your real pilgrimage begin? Because the truth is, a person may walk 500 kilometers during Shravan, yet return to the same anger, same stress, strain, the same confusion, the same unhealthy habits, the same fears, the same restless mind, and another person may never undertake a physical Kawad Yatra, yet every single day walk towards Mahadev through discipline, compassion, self-reflection, and self-knowledge. Which one is closer to Shiva? The scriptures answers very clearly. The one whose life is becoming an offering. That is why Spiritually Wealthy Gurukul was born. Not to create followers, not to increase numbers, not to make spirituality complicated, but to help sincere seeker live the wisdom of Sanatana Dharma in everyday life. Because spirituality should not remain inside temples. It should enter our homes, our workplace, our business, our relationship, our decisions, our thoughts, our speech, our character, our entire life. That is our vision. At Spiritually Wealthy Gurukul, we do not ask one question, we ask three. The first question is, how do I master my life? That is wall level. This is where you build discipline. You learn to win over laziness. You learn to overcome fear. You develop healthy habits. You learn how to make dharma stronger than distraction, because no great spiritual life is built upon weak foundations. The second question is, how do I become a blessing to the world? That is the garden level. Once you have won the inner battle, you begin cultivating the heart. Relationships improve, compassion deepens, service becomes natural. You no longer ask, what can I get from life? You begin to asking, what can I contribute to life? That is where true prosperity begins. Then comes the greatest question, who am I? Not my profession, not my successes, not my failures, not even my spiritual identity. Who am I? That is the liberation level where the wisdom of Upanishad, the Bhagavad Gita, the Shiva Purana, and Advaita Vedanta come together, not as information but as direct inner recognition. This is the highest purpose of human birth. The spiritually wealthy life, people often ask me, what does it mean to become spiritually wealthy? It does not mean renouncing the world. It does not mean escaping responsibilities. It does not mean living in caves. The spiritually wealthy person can be a teacher, a doctor, a business owner, a homemaker, a student, a leader, a parent, a professional. Spiritually wealthy means you possess something the world cannot steal. Inner peace when circumstances changes. Clarity when life becomes confusing. Compassion when others becomes depicted. Courage when challenges arises. Wisdom when decision must be made. And above all, the recognition that your true nature is already complete. That is the real wealth. An invitation. So today, I do not invite you to join an organization. I invite you to begin a journey. A journey that millions before us have walked. The journey from fear to faith, from confusion to clarity, from reaction to wisdom, from ego to surrender, from seeking to discovery, from simply worshipping Shiva to living as an instrument of Shiva's compassion. If Mahadev has called you, perhaps it If Mahadev has called you, perhaps it was not an accident that you watched this discourse. Perhaps Mahadev has been quietly preparing you for something deeper. If your heart says, I wanted to understand the Bhagavad Gita, not just read it. If your heart says, I want to understand Vedanta, not just hear about it. If your heart says, I want spirituality to transform my life, not remain a Sunday inspiration, then maybe this is your next step. Walk with us, study with us, reflect with us, question with us, meditate with us, grow with us. Not because we have all the answers, but because together we walk the timeless path shown by the rishis. A final blessing. And before we part, let us pray together. May Lord Shiva give you the strength of Nandi to remain steady. May he give you the purity of Mother Ganga to nourish everyone you meet. May he give you the courage of Markandeya to remain devoted through every challenge. May he give you the humility of Kannappa to love without calculation. May he give you silence of Dakshinamurti to recognize your own true self. May your life become a pilgrimage. May your home become a temple. May your work become worship. May your relationship become seva. May your knowledge become wisdom. May your devotion become liberation. And may every breath remind you not that Shiva is far away, but that Shiva has always been the light of awareness within you. Thank you for walking this sacred journey with me until we meet again. Keep fighting your inner war, keep nurturing your inner garden, keep walking towards liberation, and remember the beautiful truth that echoes through every step in Kawad Yatra. You are never walking alone. Mahadev walks with you. Har Har Mahadev. Om Namah Shivaya.